Friends, you want to know what my hot take is? Actually, you know what? I'll just let Marineford TCG go ahead and say what it is for us.
But we had a take from the Capybara, who said that their whole take is that a lot more leaders are actually viable at a local level, but people don't want to put in the work to find cool combos and older cards that will make those decks viable at a local. They think that the game is much more diverse power level wise than the tier list power ranking videos lead you to believe.
Okay, so big shouts out to Marineford TCG for featuring my comment in the video. But basically what I'm trying to say is that even though the OP-13 leaders are the best, they are the best leaders, that doesn't mean that it's a 3-deck format. That doesn't mean that at a local level, you can't get in the kitchen and cook some fools, okay? I thought, what is one of the best counters against an OP-13 meta? And my brain settled on Yamato, because a lot of the top leaders use big blockers. Like Zoro uses Mihawk, Ace uses Newgate, the Roger has a lot of big characters, and Imu has counter events and 2 blockers. What gets around blockers? What gets around counter events? Resting stuff down. And so I thought to myself, you know, Ace is only 3 life. If you can actually hit with double attack, that is devastating. Imu is only 4 life with mono color. If you can hit with double attack, that's devastating. And so, thus, the Yamato OP-13 decklist was born. Let's jump into it. So, for those of you who don't know, Yamato, what does she do? She's a green and yellow 5k leader with double attack, 4 life with an activate main once per turn. If your opponent has 3 or less life, attach up to 2 Rested Dawn to one of your characters. So, we're gonna try and make the game plan is to make Yamato really strong early, get that double attack off, then distribute our Dawn around and swing pretty wide and then swing pretty tall to finish off. So this is how we're going to go ahead and accomplish this. Now this is the list I played in the video, but if I were to make any changes, I'm going to tell you straight up right now, I'm getting rid of this Mihawk, getting 2 more of these Otamas, and I am cutting probably the Doji for more Tonoyasus. And the reason why, I think the Doji is a good card, but it never came up. In all of my testing, it did not come up. Tonoyasu, I was a lot of times like, man, I wish I had Tonoyasu right now. And so I would probably trade Doji for Tonoyasu. But I'll go ahead and give you the list and breakdown anyway. You know, Dracula Mihawk is 2k. If you have 2 or less characters, play up to 1 4 cost, lower slash trait character. So my thought was you can cheat out Kikinojo or the Nekomamushi with Mihawk for 3 Dawn. So you can kind of go a little bit wider with that. I don't think it ever really came up, and I would always prefer to have an Otama over that. Next, we got Hody Jones. This guy slaps. I mean, you gotta run him. 4 of, because he's not searchable. Same thing with Mihawk. Mihawk is so good in this deck because you can establish an 8k blocker to try and survive. You're only 4 life. So you establish that 8k blocker and then set up to 4 Dawn cards of your active. You can still swing 9 with double attack and have Mihawk on the board. That's crazy. Yeah, Mihawk is super good in this deck. Next, we got the 1 cost, 0 power Yamato Searcher with the Dawn ×2. Character gains 3000 power. So the goal is you play out Yamato, you swing with Yamato like your next turn, get them down to 3 life, then you can give your Rested Dawn to this Yamato to then swing for 5. Very solid play. This is a good searcher. And it's a good target for your Momonosuke blocker to bounce into your life, but we'll get to that later. Next, we got Tonoyasu. This is an interesting card. Now, your goal with this deck, I think, is go second. If you go second, on your turn, you can play out Tonoyasu or Otama. They both do something similar. Tonoyasu trashes himself and then gives your leader plus 3000 power, which is very good if you have already played it on your first turn, on your next turn, you can then swing in for an insane amount. Absolutely buku's amounts of power. So, yeah, this is a really, really solid first turn play if you can get second. This is another decent play to go ahead and load Kikunojo into life, load Kinemon into life, things that you can cheat out onto the board. But not for the strategy that we're going for, but it's still a searchable 2K. And loading Kikunojo is still good later in the game if you have just 2 extra Dawn that, you need to use. So, the deal with the Otama is you activate main, you rest the character, you add 1 card to the top of your life cards to your hand, and then up to 1 of your leader characters gains plus 3,000 power for the turn. Now, this is generally not great to take your own life, but if you know you're going to take 2 of theirs, it's worth it to get that momentum going. Also, too, if you've already played this out, you can then pair it with this Izo, swing in for Banish, and now you're definitely going to have a card advantage. It's not so bad giving up the life here too, because what you can do is, for instance, if you've played a Hiyori, if you've played a Yamato, if you've played even an Otama, and they don't swing into it, which they should be, but if they don't, what you can do is on the next turn, you'll play Momonosuke and load them back into life and heal. So it's not the worst thing in the world to take your life that early, but using the effect multiple times is risky. But, it might be enough power to take you over the edge. Next, we got Izo. This is a 2-cost 1K blocker. Dawn times 2, character gains blocker. And then on play, your leader gains Banish. So this is a really solid one to go ahead and play out. You swing in with Banish really, really big, and then use your Dawn times 2 effect to give them the rested Dawn to make them a blocker. Really solid. Doji is one that I might actually cut. I like Doji in some matchups, but it didn't come up. It just didn't come up. And so I think I'd rather have more Toniyasus than the Doji. Unfortunately, it just doesn't fit the strategy of the deck. But it's still a decent card. If your leader has Land of Wano type and your opponent has 3 or more life cards, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with base cost of 5 or less. It hits a ton of stuff, but it's just not necessarily the theme of the deck. Next, we got Kikunojo. You know her, you love her. It's Kikunojo on KO. If your opponent's life is 3 or less, place the top card of your deck to the top of your life. Heals. It's got a trigger that plays out of life. It's amazing card, amazing stat line, beautiful. Next, we got Nekomamushi. Now, Nekomamushi is more of a tech card. He's 4 cost, 5k power with a taunt times 2. Character can also attack your opponent's active characters. So, if you're trying to get down a little blocker so that you can, do something different. Or, for instance, maybe you're playing up against Buggy D Clown. This is a good tech card against that. We don't play against that. But mostly if there is a blocker you need to get rid of to then swing for a game, this is your guy. This is your guy right here. Because they don't want to counter out of a block, counter a blocker out. But they will. They might if they're surprised by Nekomamushi. Next we got Kinemon. He's a 2k, 4 cost, 5k power. And if your leader's Land of Wano, which we are, tight, and your opponent has 3 or less life cards, play the card. Very, very solid. Just to cheat him out of life. Kind of like Kikunojo, except he's a 2k. Next, we got Momonosuke. Now, this little blocker guy, he's pretty solid. You play him out, and then you can pop one of your Land of Wano cards back into your life. So that's really solid. A lot of times I'll put a 2k at the bottom because I know that it's a 2k at the bottom, and that's pretty good knowledge to have. Or you could maybe save your Otama from a swing. You got lots of different options to work with this Momonosuke, and even just the fact that it heals you at all is very, very big. That's a decent defensive tempo play by establishing a blocker and healing at the same time. There's not a lot of cards that do that but he does it very well. Next, we got the Rusher Momonosuke. Now, if I was to redo the deck, I might drop this down to a 2 of, just because it is a brick, and we're not going to be playing more than one of them. So, yeah, if I'm redoing the deck, I'm dropping it down to 2. But he's 6 cost, 7k. Your turn, if you got 2 or less life cards, your leader gains 1000 power, which is just solid across the board. And then he's got an activate main. You can return 2 of your currently given Dawn cards to your cost area rested. The character gains Rush and 1000 power for the turn. So, that's pretty solid. You use the Yamato ability perhaps on Nekomamushi and swing, or on Yamato and swing. Then you can take him back and then give him Rush. So it's pretty good card. Next up, we got a little bit more tech. We got Gum Gum Elephant Gatling. Now, this is such a good, valuable play. You can rest 1 of your Dawn cards. So you got main. You play 1 to play the card, and then you can rest another one. So it costs 2, basically. And then you rest up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less. Now, my first thought is that's going to work great against Marco, the Marco blocker. That's going to work great against one of the Imu blockers. Resting those blockers down for only 2 Dawn is very, very efficient when you got some heavy hitters. You got heavy hitters. Very, very solid card, and it's got the 1000 power counter. Next up, we got basically Elephant Gatling Advanced. We got Demon Aura 9 Sword Style Ashura Blades Drawn Dead Man's Game, which I have memorized the name of. Yeah, I'm pretty cool. Next, so he's got the main. You can rest 3 of your Dawn cards, and then rest up to 2 of your opponent's characters for Dawn cards. So it basically is just like Gum Gum Elephant, except double, because you can rest 2 things instead. And this also hits Dawn. This only hits characters, which is very important distinction. This one only can hit Dawn as well, which is very, very good against those counter events. And then it also has a counter where it gives your leader plus 3000 power for the battle. So this is the deck list. Let me say, it can cook. Let's get into some games. All right, we are going up against a red-purple Roger. We're going to want to go second so that we can set up some dank plays. This is not a bad starting hand. I will go ahead and keep it because we can use this Toniyasu, and then maybe we can search up a Otama to then play out, or the other Toniyasu, or some big stuff. So what we're going to go ahead and do is play out Toniyasu and then pass. Baby, and then pass. Here they're just gonna swing in with everything they got. That's fine. We're gonna take. Next, think that we do search for that Otama. No friggin' way. Okay, we found this guy instead, and we will take him, and we will trash. And we will trash. And then we swing in big, baby. Let's friggin' go. 12k into 5. Ain't no way they losing that. Ain't no way. Now, next up, we could go for some sort of Momonosuke. That would be nice. Here, we do not have enough to block, so we'll just take. And then they have to pass the turn. No big deal. We got a Kikanojo. I like the idea of forcing them to counter some more. So let's go ahead and play out this. This banish here. And let's swing in large with 9. Bang, bang, bang. Yeah, they're gonna counter. So they got rid of Uso Hachi, the Divine Departure, and Shanks. So we set up our blocker and we'll end turn. No big deal. Next, we will be at our 8 Dawn turn. That's when the Mihawk comes out. We can play out Mihawk. We can restand a bunch of Dawn, swing in for a 9, and still have then 2 blockers. It'll be nuts. It'll be crazy. It'll be very nice. Here, let's go ahead and do no blocker and give him a doji. Well, actually, we can KO this bullet with doji and establish somebody else on the board. But we have nothing else to counter out with. Nah, let's do it. Let's get rid of that. Take this one, and then we'll counter here. Or we'll block here. Yeah. Yeah. So unfortunately, if this was our 9 Dawn turn, we could play Momonosuke and Mihawk, which would go hard in the paint, but we cannot do that, so not a big deal. Here, we definitely do play Mihawk, though. Mihawk is absolutely goated. We will play out another Izo. And we will swing in for 7 versus this Goldie Roger with Banish. I'm trying to get cards out of their hand. I think that this Goldie Roger generally runs quite a few bricks. A lot of their top end is bricks. So, let's go. Straight to the trash with this Silver's Rayleigh and this Bentham. We're going to go ahead and give them some Dawn and pass the turn. So now we got two blockers, 1-1 here. And there we go. All right, that was fast. Some fast play there. They can swing in for 10. We will go ahead and just block this with the Izo. And we don't have a 2K, but it doesn't matter. We can just block with this. And so here we go. Here they have 0 Dawn standing. 5 cards in hand. But they're at 9K. That is a tough swing. That's a big honkin' swing. So I don't feel comfortable just like splitting it up and going for it. Yeah, that's pretty dicey. So what we'll go ahead and do is do this. Add you to the top of life. And I think we just go. See, they're going to counter out of this. This is only 9. We got to go 9 into 6. We got to go into the character here. Because it's unlikely that they swing with these shanks. So we'll definitely be able to secure our board presence. Okay. So this is a rusher. Here we can go ahead and it looks like this is their only blocker, and Gum Gum Gatling doesn't hit it. So what we'll have to do is we'll do no blocker here, counter up to 8, and then we will go ahead and eat this. And I think we go ahead and eat this too and go for game, baby. We go for broke here. They are a 7K. They're not a 9K this time. So we have the Dawn to play with. What we can do is go ahead and play out Hody Jones, rest that blocker, and then let's start swinging tall. Cappy always tells you to swing tall. That's what we're freaking doing. We're going to go ahead and go 7 into 7 with double attack. Obviously, they only have 1 damage. They only have 4 cards in hand, and they have to survive 5 hits. And just like that, they knew they were bricked up. Excellent game to my opponent. GG, well played. Yamato can cook an OP-13. It's just true. It's just true. Alrighty, here we go against Red Blue Ace. We're playing, the green yellow Yamato. And I'm telling you, Yamato can cook. Yamato can cook an OP-13. Maybe it's just cope. Maybe it's just cope, but I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that this is it. This is the one. Let's see if they decide to pick what turn it is. Oh boy. Come on, Zane. There we go. Wow, he did. It took him forever to decide to go first or second. He went first, which is actually good for us. I would prefer to go second. We don't have any of our boosters, so let's go ahead and mulligan this. Yeah, didn't see much. We actually just pulled a bunch of bricks, unfortunately. Unfortunate that. Okay. I think we, try and just pull something out of life. Okay, whatever. Whatever. That was pretty silly. I just decided to get rid of a brick into life. We played down the Hiyori and then pulled the Hiyori out of life. Actually iconic. Let's just go ahead and give us our Mihawk back, I guess. Here we don't have very many plays that we can do. We are already 3 life, and so are they. So we can go ahead and use our ability to turn Izo into a blocker ASAP. So we're just going to go ahead and swing in with Banish. And they're going to trash this Izo to give me minus 2k, and boom, we get blocker and pass the turn. Unfortunately, we don't see the power boosters. We gotta see the power boosters. Because this deck is against the clock. You're basically just against the clock. Since they can't really swing into me besides with leader, we will go ahead and block out with the Izo. And bada bing, bada boom. Pass. Okay, finally we get our big stuff here, but unfortunately they already have Marco. So maybe perhaps we could elephant gun the Marco and go ahead and play down the Otama, use the Otama. We'll go ahead and take bottom life, which kind of works out for us. And I think that here we go hard in the paint, 10 into 6, and asking for, now they can use their Don -1 or they can trash a card from the hand to give me minus 2000, but then it's still 8 against 6. So we're asking for at least 3 cards with this swing here. If they let it go through, then they are down to 1 life, so that does hurt. But we do have not a whole lot of counter in hand, and it looks as though they are going to counter out. Wow. We asked for everything, and they obliged. They obliged. Now here, I feel like you kind of have to swing into the Otama. Yes, they're going to go ahead and not even try to swing Otama into Otama, which probably would have been ideal, but going 8 into 0. This Otama is, and then passing the turn, must have not had much else to play out there. Here, we're gonna go ahead and we have a few different options. We could play out Mihawk and then use and then Izo. Yeah, I think we play out Mihawk. We play out Izo. And we attach 2. We swing in 7 with Banish. So they will have to at least trash 1 more card out of hand. Or get rid of the blocker and go back up that way. And here we go ahead and give Izo the Dawn, and we got another blocker. So we're looking pretty good, but now they are at least 8 Dawn. I think they're at 9. Yeah, so we can expect the I Am Whitebeard event, and they're going to play out the Edward Newgate from hand. They might be deciding which one they're going to do, because it took them forever to do the Edward Newgate. Maybe it was the Draw 2 Trash one that they were deciding. No, that was it, right? So what's going on here? Come on now. This is, okay, 5K swing. I think here we will go ahead and counter with that, and then we will block with the Ezo. So we keep the Mihawk and still just get rid of Ezo there. No harm, no foul. Now, here, there's a few different options we can do. They are at 8K right now. So I feel like we could do Mihawk. I think maybe we go another extremely defensive turn. So we're going to go ahead and play out the Mihawk, restand all that done, play out the Momonosuke, feed Hiyori to the bottom of our life, and then just swing in 6, 2. And they're going to let it go. The reason we do that is because obviously we can't swing into the ace if they're 8K. Is the only thing we can swing into. If I was them, I probably would have just blocked, but they could have been worried about me giving 2 Dawn to Mihawk and swinging that way. But even so, they have so many cards in hand, they probably just could have countered out there. So, alrighty, that is a Tax Beard. So we will go ahead and block with this. And I assume that they are not going to swing with that Newgate, and that is just fine. We can do another extremely defensive turn, I feel like. What we go ahead and do is play out this. We'll take the top life this time, which was in fact a Hody Jones, which is crazy. We're going to feed Kikunojo into life. And we shouldn't play out Hody Jones until the Kikunojo has been hit. So we will wait just a second here. And I think what we do is go ahead and play out our other rusher. And we'll go ahead and grant them 2 Dawn. We'll activate the main to return the 2 Dawn. So now he has rush for 8. And we will swing in. We will swing in for 6 here, asking for the block. Okay, they decided to counter out with the leader ability. And we will go ahead and search. We can find a 2K, but we can also find an Ezo. I think 2K might be better here. Oh, do not want to swing with them. And attack here, and I assume they just block this. Yes, okay. And we passed the turn. So we got out another character that can swing. Another Edward Newgate. Oh my gosh. But they took a life here. So interesting. Yeah, this is pretty meaty, if I do say so myself. We're gonna go ahead and take this because I know that it's a Kikunojo, and we'll replace Yamato. Here, I think that we go ahead and just block out with Momonosuke, and we're no sweat on forehead. And now we can do a little bit of stuff here. They're at 8K, and they have 2 Dawn up, 2 blockers. Perhaps we... See, the problem is they have a lot of this nonsense. My thought is I can Hody Jones and get rid of the blockers and just swing in with basically the rest of the Dawn. But we don't have very much after that. We would have 3 Dawn to play with, and we have to at least reach 8K. So 1, 2... I mean, we can't really go wide here, unfortunately. So, hmm. We could go a very large, maybe just a very large swing into life and ask for a block, basically. Or we could go a very large swing. It'd have to be a huge swing into there, though. Let's do 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Kikanojo. And let's go into life. We gotta, sometimes, you know what they say, you gotta swing tall, baby. You gotta swing tall. Okay, they over countered there. They did not need to counter that hard, but they did, so shout outs to them. Now they are at 8k, so I think we go ahead and we can take 2 back and then give them 2 Rested Dawn. So they're at 8, 9, 10, 11. We could get them to 12. And ask for the other one. All right. And they countered out of that as well. So we have 2 2Ks, we have 2 life, we have 2 blockers. I think we end the turn. We go ahead and end the turn. If they kill Kikanojo, then that heals us, which is good for us. Swinging into Momonosuke, not a big deal. 7 into 5, we'll just block that. We'll just block out. We'll go ahead and take this one. It is a Dead Man's Game, which is pretty pog for us. We actually, I think we may have made a mistake just now, actually. If they swing with both, we are dead. We're actually just dead. No, we're not. No. Because we have the life. I forgot about life. We don't want to drop down to 1, though, because they can play the Tenko's Roger. I don't know if they swing here. They might not swing with this because they're nervous. They're nervous. Oh, shoot. Oh, dang. We have Hody Jones, but we also have Dead Man's Game. So we have to decide what is the best option. Because unfortunately, you can't play both. You can't do both. You can only do Dead Man's Game or Hody Jones. Now, Hody Jones gives us an extra swing. We rest a blocker. We rest a Dawn. But we have more Dawn to play with if we just use Dead Man's Game. And I think that is the call, to only use Dead Man's Game and swing with what we have on the field. We want to swing at least 2 over each time. So I think we can go 9, like 8, 8, 9, 9 is what I think we can do. No, we can go a little bit higher than that. 8, 8, 9, 11. So we'll start with 8. We'll go 8. We'll go 9, and we'll go 11. Okay, they countered out. They countered out big. So unless this is an event, I mean, we might be cooking. We might be cooking with grease. They took. Let's see what we got. Are able to counter. Oh, they are able to counter. The last one was I Am Whitebeard. And just like that, friends, Yamato can win. Yamato can win. You just have to have the right cards. a lot of blockers in OP-13, a lot of big ones. You got these Edward Newgates, and if you can survive, if you can play down your own blockers and just rest theirs and swing in large, sometimes you might just get lucky. Let's go on to the next one. All right, we're going up against an Emu. This starting hand has too many Mihawks in it, so we're gonna go ahead and mulligan. I'm looking for those power increasers. Yes, like the Otama. Otama is a perfect 2-don play. Unfortunately, we do have to play the Yamato here because we don't see nothing else. Here, I think we're going to try and take the 2K. And we're going to go ahead and pass the turn. We could go ahead and put Nakamushi into life. All of that, but I think that the play here is going to be boom, we do this, and we're gonna swing pretty large here. Let's just go ahead and swing with all we got, Captain. It's not 13k swings that we're able to do on turn 4, but it is something, and it does completely empty out their hand. Unfortunately, they didn't take the hit, so we can't swing in with Yamato by giving Yamato the 2 rested Dawn, but maybe we can do that next turn. Maybe we can do it next. We have plenty of 2Ks to counter out of any sort of attacks that they might throw at us. And if I am Imu here, I am swinging into this Otama. This is a kind of piece that you can't just let sit on the board because... It's dangerous, friends. It's real dangerous. There you go. The Saint Shepherd is going to be enough to kill it. And so we'll go ahead and give them a Kinemon and go ahead and pass. Now here, I mean, come on now. They have no events up. They got not a lot going on here. So I think what we go ahead and do is play out Izo and just swing in 8 with Banish. You either got the 2Ks or you don't, and they did. So, all right. If they only have 2 cards in hand, that is not a lot to work with. Very, very small hand size against this Emu here. They're going to go ahead and swing in with everything that they've got, and we could counter out 7, 9, 11, but that would be like every card that we have. So we'll just go ahead and take. And excellent, we pull a Mihawk out of life. Yeah, I think we just do the same thing just again. And just go all in. We can swing this hard. You don't have enough unless you got a 1K, like a 1-cost event. But nope, they're going to trash it. They're going to trash it, and because of that, we can now give Izo some rested Dawn and pass the turn. Now we got a blocker on the board. They only got 3 characters, so or 3 cards. That's a big yikes. Here, I think we do block out of this. I don't want to give them too much, so we'll go ahead and do that. And now another Mihawk, which is not bad for us. We're going to go ahead and restand all of this Dawn. We could play out this Otama, but I feel like that is a mistake. We should probably keep for the 2K. We swing in with 10. We're going to get the blocker here. There's literally no way. Yeah, exactly. And then give 2 rested Dawn and then pass the turn. They only got two cards in hand. They got 2 life. It is looking dire. We have a Mihawk. We have an Izo. They're still cycling. There it is, the big guy. And here they all come out of life, or out of the trash. This is the classic play, but it looks like they didn't have all of their things available. They should have at least had, oh, maybe just this blocker. Did they not have the other? That's very unfortunate for them. That's very unfortunate. Um, 7. So this is a 6K. It's the only one with rush. We're going to save Mihawk and then save our life, and then if they swing, no matter where they swing, we just block out with Izo here. Yep, and this is the way. At this point, we can go for game. We just go for game. We have Hody Jones. We drop this. Yep. Good game to my opponent. Well played. Yeah, we play Hody Jones. We rest the blocker. We rest the Don. We swing an 8. We swing an 8. We swing an 8. And they don't have anything. They didn't have anything to do. And so if you can get that banished double attack off, Yamato can cook. Yamato can cook, I'm telling y'all. Editing Cappy here, and after talking with one of my friends who is a pretty experienced Yamato player, and just after the notes to, you know, after playing these games and trying out this build for a few days, I've decided to actually land on this final build right here. It's very similar, except we put 2 more Otamas in instead of the Mihawks, and then also too, we got rid of some cards like the Dojis and something else too. 2 of the Momonosuke Rushers, to put in this new OP-13 blocker Hiyori. And the reason why is at 8 Dawn, we can play out Mihawk, stand 4, and then do that. So we get a life, we get 2 more blockers. It's really, really good. Anyways, this is the final list, and it's linked down in the description. Cappy Crew, thank you so much for watching to the end of this video. I really, really appreciate it. If you haven't yet, if you wouldn't mind liking and subscribing, that would mean the world to me. Show your support for the people in the kitchen. The Sanji's in the kitchen cooking up stuff against these OP-13 leaders. If you like, I have some special stuff in the description for you. There is my locals tracker, which you can make a copy of and use for yourself. It is just a way to get a lot of percentages of like your win percentages based on specific things, such as your opponent's deck list, your deck list, what store you were playing at, what round it was. You can it will track all of those stats for you once you input the data. And it's been very, very helpful for me, not to only to like see what I'm good against and what I'm bad against, but also to track my own progress. For instance, fun fact about me is that I have not lost a game to a Yamato in real life. However, if my best friend plays anything except Yamato, I do lose. So that's interesting little fun fact there. There's also a TCG player link down there. It's not an affiliate link because I don't have one of those yet, but it is a link to the store. So if you want to buy cards straight from me, you frickin' can. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching the video, and there's probably some other video that you could probably click on too with maybe a really fancy deck list that you might want to check out. And until then, make sure that you remember to swing tall, and you have a good one. Deuces.